Hi guys, welcome to my channel. This is your host Nas. Today I'm going to share with you one of my personal paranormal stories that I have experienced myself. I'm the so-called one who was blessed with a third eye when I was young. I would see things that others can't, especially when no one is around. Some may say I have a rich imagination, but only I know whether it is a fact or fiction. This story happened when I was 10 years old and my family had moved into a resale home 3 years ago. The event took place in my very own home. I remember I had quarrels with my mum often due to my sister, and that day happened to be another day of quarrels. My mum is always siding with my younger sister's side since the start of time, and it has caused me a lot of anguish. I remember very vividly the conflict that day with my sister resulted in me choosing to sleep in my parents' room, and my mom went into my room and slept with my sister. Before this, I have never had gone to my parents' room to sleep alone, which was also the cause of this eventful paranormal story. My dad usually came home late during the night at about 1 or 2 a.m. While I had gone to bed before him as I had school to attend to the next day and slept at about 10 p.m. I can't remember exactly what time, but as I'm a light sleeper, I tend to get woken up by the tiniest sound and movement during the night very often. All of a sudden, I felt my blanket that was covering my whole body and my feet getting flipped up and down as the wind of my fan blew through consistently, causing me to feel uncomfortable cold, chilly wind. At this point, I had already woken up and thought to myself, this is abnormal, but my eyes were still closed. I decided to ignore it and continue laying on the bed without moving to observe the situation. As expected, the blanket at my feet was flipping again, and the cold wind blew in, and I was angry and was about to scold and thought that my dad is back and was flipping my blanket playfully to disturb my sleep. For your information, the reason why I suspect it was my dad is that he had woken me up on various occasions during the night in the past, sometimes playfully and other times to urge me to go to the toilet and pee as I used to always wet the bed. Getting back to the story, this time I decided to open my eyes, scold my dad for waking me up, and it is an instant regret in my life. I opened my eyes, and it was dark. There wasn't any light in the room, but it was not an issue to see clearly what was standing in front of the fan, and it was looking directly back at me. It was not my dad. Neither was it my mum nor one of my three siblings. He is wearing a tattered and torn white dress. Due to my anger of the disturb, I had a good 5 second stare trying to make out what I had seen, and also felt an electrifying shock going through my body as if I had a sleep paralysis. I instinctively forced myself to shut both my eyes and never open them again. Fortunately, they were able to shut. I began to recall what I just saw just now, and the looks of the figure have no eyes and are translucent. As I was able to look through and see the fan behind it, it has no legs too, and it has long hair covering up to its waist. Its arms were barely visible. While recalling this, quite a few thoughts ran through my mind. What if it is now just directly in front of me now? When will my dad come to my rescue? I don't want to open my eyes. I don't want to move in case it notices that I'm aware of it. What time is it now? Why is the time flowing so slow? It felt like an eternity, and I was awake even though my eyes were shut as tight as possible. I was also glad that the blanket wasn't flipping at my feet, or else I wouldn't know whether to start crying or screaming. All that I can do is to wait for the time when my dad comes home to my rescue. I waited and waited. The main gate of my home was open, and the moment my eyes detected a glimmer of light in the living room was on, I ran out of the room as quickly as I could to find my dad in a panic that my dad could detect that something had happened. He asked, "What happened?" I told him everything. I remember that night I waited in the living room until my dad is done bathing and entered the room before I lay on the bed and sleep again till the next day. Even to this day, this is an event that I remembered very clearly. The 5 seconds of gazing at it were enough to imprint a lifetime of images into my memory. I'm not sure if I have regretted my decision as even today, I can still remember it vividly. Whenever someone asks me about a spooky encounter, this is the story I will always share with them. Do let me know what are your thoughts in the comment section. What do you think about my paranormal story? Do you think I have a rich imagination? Or what I have encountered is true? Feel free to ask me any questions that I might have missed out on in this story. This is not the only incident that I had been through, as I have mentioned that I had a third eye when I was young. I had encountered many other paranormal activities which I will share on my channel in the future. So remember to like, subscribe, and hit on the notification bell if you enjoy the stories so that you can get notified for the latest story. Thank you.